सरस्वती ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की, श्री निताय गौर सुंदर भगवान की, श्री पंचतत्व भगवान की, भक्त वत्सल भगवान नृसिंहदेव की, भक्त शिरोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज की, गंगा माई जमुना माई की, भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की, वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की, मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की, पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की, कलिजुगे युग धर्म हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, भुवन मंगल हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की, प्रभुपाद जन्मस्थान कोलकाता धाम की, समवेत गौर भक्तबिंद की, आज के दर्शन आरती की, गुरु पूजा की, निताय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द सिंपल डिवोटीज, all glories to the simple devotees, all glories to the simple devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories। श्रील प्रभुपाद की, श्री निताय गौर सुंदर भगवान की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, यमुना तीरा वनचारी, यमुना तीरा वनचारी, यमुना तीरा वनचारी, यमुना तीरा वनचारी। ब्रह्मचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी 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 हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Srila Prabhupada Shri Nam Sankirtan ki Jai Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 2, chapter entitled Maharaj Nimi meets the 9 Yogendras. Text number 4. Shri Vasudeva Vacha Bhagavan Bhagavato Yatra Swaste Sarvadehinam Kripananam Yatha Pitror Uttama Shloka Vartmanam. Shri Vasudeva Vacha Bhagavan Bhavato Yatra Swaste Sarvadehinam Kripananam Yatha Pitro Uttama Shloka Vartmanam. Shri Vasudeva Vacha Bhagavan Bhavato Yatra Swaste Sarvadehinam Kripananam Yatha Pitror Uttama Shloka Vartmanam. Mataji. Word-to-word meaning. Shri Vasudeva Uvacha. Shri Vasudeva said, Bhagavan, O Lord, Bhavata, of your good self, Yatra, the coming, Swastaye, for the benefit, Sarvadehinam, of all embodied beings, Kripananam, of the most wretched, Yatha, as, Petro, that of a father, Uttama Shloka, the Supreme Lord, who is praised by excellent verses, Vartamanam, of those who are fixed on the path toward. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace S.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, his disciples ki jai. Translation. Shri Vasudeva said, My Lord, your visit, like that of a father to his children, is for the benefit of all living beings. You specially help the most wretched among them, as well as those who are advanced on the path toward the Supreme Lord. Uttama Shloka. Purport. Vasudeva herein describes the glories of Narada Muni. The words Kripananam Yatha Pitror Uttama Shlok Vartamanam are significant. Kripananam refers to most wretched persons, whereas Uttama Shlok Vartamanam refers to the most fortunate, those who are advanced in Krishna consciousness. Sridhar Swami has stated, Tatha Bhagavad Rupasya Bhavato Yatra Sarvadehinam Swastaya iti. The word Bhagavad Rupasya indicates that Narad Muni is an expansion of Supreme Lord, and that his activities therefore bring immense benefit for all living beings. In the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Narad Muni is described as a manifestation of the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There it is stated that Narada is specially empowered to give instructions in the art of devotional service to Krishna. Narada is especially able to advise the conditioned souls as to how they can dovetail their present activities with the devotional service of Krishna without unnecessarily disrupting their present life. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati has defined the word Kripana by quoting from Brihad Aranyakya Upanishad. Etad aksharam gargi avidit vasmal lokat praiti sa kripana. O daughter of Gargacharya, he who leaves this world without learning about the infallible Supreme is a kripana or miser. In other words, we are awarded the human form of life so that we may understand our eternal blissful relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As indicated in verse 2 of this chapter by the word Indriyavan, the human body is specially awarded so that we may serve the Supreme Lord Krishna. This human form of body is the greatest fortune because the highly evolved intelligence of human life enables us to understand Krishna, the absolute truth. If we are unable to understand our eternal relationship with God, we shall derive no permanent benefit whatsoever in this present life, nor can we ultimately benefit others. One who receives a great treasure but can neither use it himself nor dedicate it to the happiness of others is called a miser. Therefore, a person who leaves this world without having understood his actual position as servant of God is called Kripada or miser. This verse states that Narad Muni is so empowered in devotional service of Krishna that he can lift even miserly rascals out of their illusion, just as a kind father goes to his child and wakes him from the distressing nightmare. Our present materialistic life is just like a troublesome dream from which great souls such as Narada can wake us. Narad Muni is so powerful that even those already advanced in devotional service to Krishna can greatly enhance their spiritual position by hearing his instructions, as they will be given here in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, Sri Narada is the Guru and Father of all living beings, who are originally devotees of the Lord, but who are not artificially attempting to enjoy, who are now artificially attempting to enjoy the material world in the material bodies of human beings, animals, and so on. Also, text number 3, just text before that. Shukdev Goswami is continuing. One day the sage among demigods, Narada, came to the house of Vasudeva. After worshipping Narada with suitable paraphernalia, seating him comfortably and respectfully, bowing down to him, Vasudeva spoke as follows. Shri Vasudeva said, My lord, your visit, like that of a father to his children, is for the benefit of all living beings. You especially help the most wretched among them, as well as those who are advanced on the path towards the Supreme Lord. Uttama Shloka. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Padkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasat Desitarine Nityanandam Maham Nami Sarvananda Karam Harinama Pradam Devam Avadhuta Shiromani Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratushe Nama He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapt Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Nilachal Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balbhadra Subhadrabhyam Jagannathaya Te Namah Vancha Kalpatarubhesya Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnanebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Panghom Langhayate Grim Yat Kripatam Ham Bande Shri Guru Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. So I am receiving blessings and the lotus feet of all the assembled Vaishnavas here, especially Vrindavan Charya Prabhu, Gaurang Swami Prabhu, Purushottam Nitai Prabhu, and all the Vaishnavas, that we may be able to speak on this beautiful Srimad Bhagavatam for purification of our heart, for the glorification of Lord and His devotees, as a service to all Vaishnavas and for benefit of everyone. So here in this verse we are seeing extraordinary humility of Vasudev, and we are seeing glories of Sri Narad Muni. Hence we will try today to focus on these two points and two things. First is greatness of Sri Narad Muni, which is being described in this verse. And second is the attitude of Vasudev, and an attitude of a devotee, which helps one access the greatness of the great souls. Else, the great souls are literally unidentified without the right attitude. So we are seeing in this verse, Vasudev is glorifying Sripad Narad Muni, and he is telling Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, commenting on this verse, he speaks. He says that Vasudev is telling that how Narad Muni is Vasudev is telling that Narad Muni is like a father. Kripanam yatha pitror. He is like a father to all kinds of people, all three kinds of people. So three kinds of people are Sarvadehinam, that is ordinary people. Second is Kripananam, that is those who are miserly, as in the purport we heard just now that who is called as miser? Miser is a person who has lot of wealth, a lot of wonderful things in his life, but it neither utilizes for himself, neither for others' benefit. Right? He is called miser. In a similar way, we have got this human form of life, which is a topmost wealth, which is meant for the highest purpose of realizing Krishna. And in the purport we read also that for the purpose of, so that we understand I am servant of Krishna and to help others receive that knowledge, Sambandha Gyan. So that is the purpose of this human form of life. So anyone who doesn't utilize this human form for such a beautiful highest purpose, and rather waste in simply eating, sleeping, mating, defending, such a person is called miser. Right? So such people who are uninterested in Krishna consciousness, Narad Muni is very kind to even them, and so wretched. And the third kind of people Narad Muni is very kind to is Uttama Shlok Vartmanam, those who are on the progressive path back home, back to Godhead, who are absorbed and focused on Krishna. So these three kinds of people, Narad Muni equally gives blessings to all of them. So let us try to analyze and remember some of the past tense of Narada, how he delivered these three kinds of people: ordinary, wretched, and the devotees who are literally on the path of perfection, or those who are already perfected also. So like that. So first we'll see Kripana. Kripana means those who are very miserly people. So one of the example which immediately comes to the mind is, which we might have, maybe attended or we give to the very new people, but very relevant, is the example of Kailash. Srila Prabhupada gives the story of a Kailash, that who was very, very, absorbed in his maintaining his own family, and Narad Muni would come repeatedly to him and tell him that I can take you back to Godhead right away. You like to come? And Kailash would say, no, I am so busy. I have to take care of my family. I have to take care of my children. I have to take care of so many responsibilities. And then when Kailash became very old, literally he had no responsibilities. Still, Kailash was not ready. And Narad Muni kept coming again and again and again. So that is one. What to say of that? This story goes on to explain that how this Kailash became a dog, and he was still attached to his home, and he was not ready to leave, his home, and he was barking and protecting his home, thinking that I am protecting, and Narad Muni still told him that now you can come, and he was thinking, no, I am so busy, I have to take care of this property, and so on. He was so much not taking up spiritual life, that after that he died as a dog also, and he became a snake. And then Narad was thinking, he is getting so degraded into snake's body. Now at least he can come back. But still he was thinking, no, I am protecting the fields of Kailash, of my sons and grandsons. And finally Narad Muni felt, ye sudharne wala nahi. And Narad Muni gave a shock treatment by telling the sons that just see, a deadly poisonous cobra has come here, kill him. And finally they started beating and killing, and then he got mercy. So Narad Muni, very important thing we can see is that Narad Muni is so merciful to such a person who is not accepting. Generally, if you remember this past time, we can think that how much do we go to people who do not accept, right? Once people reject, they are not ready, bhar mein jaye, let us go to the people who are ready to accept. But we see this is what Vasudeva is glorifying Narad Muni, that Narad Muni is very merciful to even miserly people like Kailash, right? And goes out of his way again and again, repeatedly, ultimately to the extent, most of them, these people, those people who are really very, very uninterested, they need shock treatment only, right? And hence finally Narad Muni arranged a nice shock treatment, for him, so that he can come back to senses. And that time, while his grandsons himself were beating him, for whom he was working hard, he came to his senses. He realized, and then remembering Narada, he leaves his body, right? And because he leaves his body, remembering Narada, next life he gets human form of life, and he became a wonderful devotee and goes back home, back to Godhead. So in that way, Narad Muni doesn't leave even Kripana. Another example which was coming to us is Nal Kuber Manigriv. So they were also having so much nice opulent demigod's body, but not utilizing for the right purpose. Rather, they were so intoxicated, that finally when Narad Muni came in front of them, Narad Muni saw the pitiable situation of theirs, and understanding again, Narad Muni gave a shock treatment by giving them a curse. Okay, you become a tree. But that was the biggest blessings, because by that type of shock treatment, immediately they came to senses that yes, what is our real purpose and goal. And for 100 years, 100 celestial years, they remained tree, and then they got darshan of Krishna. And by that time, they had developed a good attitude, and they could appreciate Krishna's pastime, and in that way they were liberated. So in that way, Narad Muni is merciful to even Kripana. And then we find ordinary people, that means people who may be innocent, they just don't know. As soon as they come to know, they will take up. So like that, just like obviously, generally this example is given for a very sinful person, but because he took up very sincerely, so we are putting him in ordinary. That is Migrari. So Migrari was extremely sinful personality, but he was not so resistant. As soon as Narad Muni gave him mercy and told that you break your vow and you chant Hare Krishna, he immediately accepted. So in that way, similarly Valmiki, he could immediately understand and accept Krishna consciousness. So in that way, Narad Muni even goes to ordinary souls, give them Krishna consciousness, and they become top class devotees. Right? And then, not only that, it says Uttama Shlok Vartamanam. So those who are on the path back to Godhead, those who are literally were fixed up on the path to Krishna, even Narad Muni goes there. And one of the example is right here. Narad Muni is coming to Vasudeva. Right? Vasudeva is not neither he is an ordinary soul, neither he is Kripana. He is a pure devotee of the Lord, that the Lord himself chooses him as his father. So very, very special personality, Vasudeva. Similarly, Narad Muni's conversation with Yudhishthir Maharaj in 7th Canto. Yudhishthir Maharaj is a completely highly advanced pure devotee of the Lord. And so Narad Muni is giving instructions to him also. And similarly, Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva is a literary incarnation of Lord himself. But Narad Muni comes and gives him also Krishna consciousness. In that way, helps him write Bhagavatam. So in that way, Narad Muni is engaged, in delivering all kinds of people. So in that way, Vasudeva is able to understand the glories of Narada. Now the next important point is that we see that Narad Muni is glorious, and all the scriptures, we just now discussed so many scriptural statements and pastimes to prove that Narad Muni is such a great soul. But is it that his greatness is always accessed by everyone? So we see Vasudeva is able to access and understand his greatness and immediately receives with so much love, affection, respect, and he is glorifying. But we see that Narada also meets Ravana, Narada also meets Kamsa, Narada also meets Hiranyakashipu. But we don't see that they are able to access the greatness of Narada in this similar way. Just like Ravana, he saw Narada and he was saying that, give me Brahma Vidya, and Narada said, oh, you are not qualified. And Ravana takes out a sword. What do you say, I am not qualified, Give me Brahma Vidya, as I'll kill you. So this is the way, a disciple approaches a guru, give me mercy, as I'll kill you. So Narada Muni was simply laughing and Ravana took his sword to kill Narada, but Narada has a spiritual body, nothing happened to him, and Narada was simply laughing, because Ravana couldn't access the greatness, Similarly, Kamsa also meets Narada and hears from Narada, but Kamsa couldn't access the real glory of Narada. Right? Similarly, Hiranyakashipu, when he was ruling, Narad Muni is explaining that when Hiranyakashipu was there, Narad Muni was also silently standing there. He was not objecting or doing anything because Hiranyakashipu couldn't access that glory. So that means there need to be something needed. The great soul may be there around us, but unless there is some prerequisite, we cannot access the greatness of the pure devotee. And that prerequisite is this humble service attitude, which our Vasudev here has, or which we see even our Nanda Maharaj receiving Garg Muni, or Vidura receiving Maitreya. So in that way, many pastimes you find where when there is a right attitude, then one can access the pure devotee. So that's why attitude is very important. Just like we see even in the life of Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, yesterday was Bhakti Thakur Prabhupada appearance day. So we see that Bhakti Thakur, such an exalted personality descending right from the spiritual world, or Bhakti Vinod Thakur descending right from the spiritual world, such a great personality, but not that everyone could take benefit of their association. Those who could take benefit and could access, they got greatly enlivened. But others, they just saw, okay, some great saint is there, that's all. So like that. So there is need of right attitude. Similarly, Srila Prabhupada traveled all over the world and so many people saw him. But is it that everyone got benefited? Right? Surely, Gyat Sukriti will be attained by everyone. But unless until right attitude is there, we cannot access. Hence it is said, in English there is a saying, and same is true in our spiritual life, that it is the attitude, not the aptitude, that determines the altitude in our spiritual life. So how much we will progress, how much we will make progress in altitude in the spiritual life is not determined on our aptitude, how much I can grasp and understand things, how much I can speak well, how much I can do many wonderful things, a lot of wonderful skills I have achieved, but it is the right kind of attitude. Right? So hence, we may be surrounded by wonderful devotees, by wonderful devotees, but if you don't have the right attitude to see these wonderful devotees around us, then we have seen people vainly search for pure devotee. There is something called a search for a pure devotee, and they keep running around, going place to place to search for a pure devotee, right? And finally, we have seen That literally people who do not have this right attitude to live in association of devotees, to appreciate and to serve the devotees, to understand the blessings of Krishna in the form of devotee association. We see they search for the pure devotee, going to different places, and any place they go, they find some fault. Oh, here is this so and so Maharaja, there's this problem. Here is so and so soul, there's this problem, that problem, and he travels, and finally comes to a conclusion that there's no pure devotee except for maybe the person I see in the mirror. Only I think this is the one pure devotee I can see. I don't know. Because it takes one to know one, right? So I am a pure devotee and I can see that there is no one else. So hence proof. And we have seen, this is what happens if we don't have a right attitude. But if we have a right attitude, what is that attitude? Attitude to serve. Attitude to serve. Right attitude is sevon mukhe hi jibhava. I want to serve. I want to please. I want to gain the blessings. Then Krishna will reveal in the heart the glories of devotees we are living around also. Right? And Krishna will show us how you can access pure devotees. Krishna will send the pure devotee. You don't have to keep searching around. Actually, we are so fortunate in Krishna Consciousness movement. Yesterday we were hearing the glories of Vasan Thakur, from many devotees, and it was so amazing to understand. Sometimes living in ISKCON, it looks very natural to understand that pure devotional service where the only goal is to please Krishna and having no personal desire for oneself. Actually, this concept is the highest, the most exalted concept. And because of mercy of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Sai Thakur, who preached so purely and directly and boldly, and Srila Prabhupada took that whole thing and gave us in such a simple way. It is such a great blessings we have received. Right? And to get access to devotees who are, either those who are living by this principle fully, that is very special. But even to get associated with those devotees whose aspiration is to live by this, itself is a very rare thing. Right? So even if it may be that one may not be able to completely come to pure devotional platform, but if devotees, we can see the devotees in which association we stay in ISKCON, is the devotees who are at least, the worst of the devotee also at least is always aspiring, for this only, and they have no other aspiration than this standard of pure devotional service where we want to only exclusively please Guru and Krishna. And as soon as they understand, oh, my motivation galat ho gaya, immediately they condemn themselves and they want to come back, and be enthusiastic. So a wonderful association, which Srila Prabhupada's mercy we have received. We can understand and appreciate and take benefit if we have the right attitude. Right? If you have right attitude to serve, because Krishna will help. If you want to serve devotees, if you want to see the purity in devotees, Krishna will show us. Right? Krishna will help us, and in that way we can. And if you want to see the faults, yes, Krishna will help that too. So like that. So that's why we don't see. We don't see actually with our eyes. We see with our attitude. We have certain attitude. We have certain perception and certain scripts in our hearts, and based on that we see everyone around. And hence, instead of trying to search, because even if you get pure devotees, you'll find faults. If there is no right attitude. So like that. So just like not everyone could even appreciate the association of Srila Prabhupada. Similarly, so many pure devotees are right now by Prabhupada's grace are roaming, but not everyone can appreciate and understand unless there is a right attitude. And hence it is not just seeing with the eyes, but it is the right attitude. And what is that right attitude? The right attitude is the service attitude or the bhakti attitude. Bhakti attitude means service attitude only. This attitude, bhakti is the attitude to see, to access the truth. Else, what can we see? So in regard to this seeing with the bhakti attitude, there is a beautiful pastime in Chaitanya Bhagavat. It is in the pastime of Mukunda. So very famous pastime of Sat Prahariya Leela or Mahaprakash Leela. So in that Mahaprakash Leela, it is the pastime comes where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving mercy to everyone, and fulfilling everyone's whatever desires and whatever benediction they ask. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is just fulfilling, and everyone gets practically mercy. And Mukunda, who is one of the very intimate associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is like his school friend, very from childhood, very good friend, Mukunda. So such a nice, wonderful friend, but Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not even calling him. And then finally Srivas Pandit, who is none other than Narad Muni, right? So Srivas Pandit, naturally feeling very much concerned about Mukunda, he says to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that, why, my dear Lord, you are not calling Mukunda? And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, do not talk about him. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so angry, because he is like staying with devotees, but he is having some Mayavadi conception, right? Or he stays with devotees and appreciates me, and then he goes to Mayavadis, and then he has he hears that also. Right? So in that way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu condemned him. So Mukunda, hearing this, actually Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in the purports explained that Mukunda, before coming to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was having some touch. Not that Mukunda was going this time, but Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to point out that one should not hear from others, from apasampradayas and everything. So Mukunda was actually a pure soul. Obviously, he's an eternally liberated Nityasiddha from a spiritual world. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is doing a pastime to glorify Mukunda. So then, Mukunda, when he heard this, he was so much crying and distressed that what's my hope? And then he was thinking that better I give up my life. And then he asked the question, crying, he asked the question that, please ask Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is there any hope for me? Is there any way I will ever get the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? And Srivas Thakur asked that Mukunda wants to know, will he ever get your mercy? And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that Shri Shri Nithai Gauranga Bhagwan ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Prabhu bole yaar yadi koti janma hai, tabe mor darshana paibe nishay. So that way he says. So after koti jan, so Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say, after koti jan, tabe mor darshan paibe nishay. Surely after 1 crore lifetime he will get my darshan. Hearing this, Mukunda was jai. Great. This is Mukunda's attitude. He was so happy. He says, Shunila nishaya prapti, Prabhura Shri Mukhe, Mukunda Sinchita Haila, Parananda Sukhe, Paibo Boli, Karek Mahanritya, Premete Vivale Haila, Chaitanya Prithya. So in that way, Mukunda became ecstatic that I am going to get darshan, I am going to, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said Nishay. And certainly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu बोल दिया तो मिलेगा. Koti janma is just a detail, not an issue. So obviously, one lesson we learn here is patience. A devotee is having, utsaha, nishya, dharya. All three qualities are actually showed. That he is enthusiastic and he is determined. That I'll do bhakti. Just I need to continue my Krishna consciousness for another 1 crore lives, and then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mercy will be there. And when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw that, Mukunda dekhiya Prabhu hase Vishwambar agya haila Mukundera anaha satvar. Bring Mukunda at once. Immediately call him. And then they called Mukunda, come Mukunda. But Mukunda was so happy that he didn't know what was happening. Right? And then Lord said that, Mukunda, you are now free from offense. Come and see me and get my mercy. So in that way, Sri Chaitanya called Mukunda to see him. And that time, Sri Mukunda started to speak something very, very interesting. And obviously Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that you are my servant and your body is filled with devotional service. I constantly reside on your tongue. So that way Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed the real glories of Mukunda. And then Mukunda says something very interesting. So this is about the attitude which we wish to discuss, which Mukunda is teaching us. From Mukunda we can learn that how we can actually see Krishna and his devotees who are representing Krishna. So Mukunda is saying, Bhakti namani nu mui ei char mukhe dekhle bhakti shunya ki pai ba sukhe. I am so wretched that I have not accepted devotional service. Since I am devoid of devotional service, how will I become happy by seeing you? Without bhakti, even if I see you, my Lord, I cannot become happy. And then he gives example. Vishwarup tumara dekhila Duryodhana, yaha dekhi bare vede kare anveshana. Duryodhan saw your universal form, which some people search throughout the Vedas to see. Dekhiya savamshe marila Duryodhan, na paila sukha bhakti shunyara karan. Very important. Like that, Mukunda gives a very important teaching. Yet, even after seeing the universal form of the Lord, Duryodhan, along with his family, was killed. He did not obtain any happiness because he was devoid of bhakti. Bhakti shunyara karan. So, without a bhakti attitude, seeing Krishna or seeing devotees, one will not be happy. one will not find happiness. And then he goes on to speak about this point, giving many more examples. Hena bhakti namanila ami char mukhe dekhi leki haibe ar mora preme sukhe. So he's saying that I am so wretched that I have not accepted devotional service. Since I am devoid of devotional service, how will I achieve love of God? By seeing you. And then he says more examples. When you went to kidnap Rukmini, all the kings saw you riding on the back of Garuda. Right? The king saw you, but they didn't got happiness. They were all like thinking to attack Krishna. And then he says third example. First example is Duryodhan. Second example, the kings in the Rukmini's marriage. Third example, during the Abhishek named Rajeshwara, all the kings saw your effulgent form. In the king of Vidarbha, in the city of Vidarbha, you manifested your form that personalities like Lord Brahma desire to see. In spite of seeing your form, all those kings were killed. They could not achieve any happiness because they were devoid of devotional service. So even in Rajswa sacrifice also this happened, and in Rukmini Swayamvar also this happened. So many of these personalities saw Krishna, but they were not happy. And then he's saying, in your boar form, as the personification of sacrifice, you once entered into water and held the vast earth on your tusk. The demigod desired to see that form. Although Hiranyaksha saw that wonderful form, he did not receive any happiness because he was devoid of devotional service. Dekhi lena Hiranya apurva darshana napaila sukhe bhakti shunyara karan. So because of not having bhakti attitude, Hiranyaksha was not happy. And then he says, next example. Ar Mahaprakash dekhila tar bhai who is that? His bhai? Hiranyakashipu. Mahayoga Hridaya Shri Kamala Thai Apurva Narsimha Rupa Kare Tribhuvane Tar dekhi Mare Bhakti Shunyara Karane. So because although he saw, this Hiranyakashipu saw Narsimhadev right in front of him, but he was not happy. He wanted to fight, and that's why he died, because he was devoid of devotional service. Hena bhakti morachar mukhe na manila Ei bada adbhuta mukha khasi na ponila. I did not care for such devotion service, yet my heart did not fall off. This is indeed astonishing. And then he gives positive example of who had bhakti, although they were not so greatly qualified. And then he says that Kubja Yagya Patni Puranari, the woman of Mathura, Mallakara Kothaye Dekhila Tara Prakasha Tumara. However, Kubja, the wives of Brahmanas, the Yagya Patni, the women of Mathura and the florist are able to see your form. They were able to see you simply due to their devotional service. Yet Kamsa was destroyed at the same place in spite of seeing your opulence. So in that way, Mukunda does a very nice analysis to explain that it is the attitude, which is more important in Krishna consciousness than just the skills or just seeing or being around with devotees. So by Srila Prabhupada's grace, we have darshan of the Lord. We have a wonderful association of Vaishnavas who are all, either they are on the platform of pure devotional service already. We can't judge who is on that platform and who is aspiring. Prabhupada said, aspiring pure devotee is as good as pure devotee. And hence, we should not judge. But even if we find that someone is not at there but they are aspiring, that itself is a rarest association, and we should worship the lotus feet of Vaishnavas who have such pure aspirations in their lives. And hence, the right attitude will help us access wonderful Krishna consciousness. So that's why unless, and how we can have this attitude. So we have discussed about this right attitude. Now the next and the last important point is that we can access this attitude of glorifying and serving only when we have little bit of self-realization. And the first step of self-realization is to understand I am insignificant, I am subordinate, I am fallen, I am not some great person. The biggest disease, I think Haridas Thakur says, obviously they are saying just to teach us what we should think. Haridas Thakur said in the same Mahaprakash Leela, he says to Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, my dear Lord, actually I have a very big disease. My big disease is that I think I am something very important. Obviously Haridas Thakur don't have this disease, but this is the disease which we have. We think I am very, very important person, and hence everything should run around me. The whole world should circumambulate around me, and everyone should do things to help and should cooperate with me. So till the time we have this attitude, that I am the center and everyone should help me, till that time, there will be only frustration, and we cannot appreciate other devotees. We cannot appreciate what we have received by Prabhupada's grace. And hence the prerequisite of this service attitude, because service attitude will come when we are able to appreciate, and we will be able to appreciate when we are able to understand that I am not the center. Krishna is the center, and I am just a cooperator. Srila Prabhupada in Bhagavad Gita, as it is introduction, Prabhupada writes this point that Krishna is the controller and jivas are the cooperators. So when we have this attitude of a cooperator, I am just a cooperator in Krishna's enjoyment. He is the enjoyer, and I am just supposed to cooperate with others to give enjoyment to Krishna. So when we have this attitude, that I am not something special, something great, something very important, right? This will make us access, to the greatness of other wonderful devotees around us. So let us pray to Shri Shri Nithaya Gauranga that we may be able to access the wonderful, loving association of devotees which we have around us, which Srila Prabhupada has given us. This gift, the biggest gift of Srila Prabhupada is the association of devotees who are aspiring for pure devotional service, who are living by the principles of pure devotional service. So let us access that very wonderfully. So our hope in life, to conclusion is, our hope in life is association of such great souls like Narada, who are always merciful, Because it is said the higher taste in devotional service is obtained by those who have higher taste and by serving them. But we can access to the great souls, not just by roaming around with them or seeing them or just roaming all over the places, but by approaching the devotees whom Srila Prabhupada has given with the right service attitude, understanding that Krishna is the center, Srila Prabhupada, service, devotional service which Srila Prabhupada has given us, instruction of Srila Prabhupada, that is the center. Mission of Srila Prabhupada is the center, not me, not what I am going to receive. If I serve the mission of Prabhupada, this is what I will receive, not this attitude. But I am just a cooperator. If I do anything, anything which helps Prabhupada's mission, my life has some meaning. That's all. Else my life has no meaning. So my existence is just to please Srila Prabhupada, and not necessarily I have to become a prominent, like when we offer flower to Prabhupada, sometimes we may offer flower in the back of lotus feet of Prabhupada, saying that, my dear Prabhupada, I want to be just an insignificant, invisible, one Sadhana Swami Maharaj uses this word, invisible instrument of the Lord. Invisible means something like no one should see that I did some service. Not to be recognized, just I want to serve. So when we have this right attitude, then we'll be able to access the mercy of the Lord, and we'll be able to see wonderful devotees around us, and in that way we'll be actually happy, and we'll be able to take benefit of the wonderful association which already Prabhupada has given. Thank you very much. His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna. Okay. Maybe 1-2 minutes. I think, so I think Narad Muni doesn't come is not the right word, because Srila Prabhupada told us, in one of the pastime of Prabhupada was there, when Prabhupada was giving class, no one came. Very few people came, and Prabhupada said, Prabhupada was very happy. And the devotee said, sorry Prabhupada, we couldn't bring anyone. Prabhupada said, why are you saying like this? Narada Muni came, Lord Brahma came. Until date in that temple, in the altar, there is a seat for Narad Muni and Brahmaji. Because Prabhupada said that they came. So they came to hear class. So point is that I would say the answer is that first of all Narad Muni comes. Okay, it's not that he doesn't come, but yes, we need to access. If we have the right attitude, we can access. So Prabhupada was accessing, and we don't know about other great souls who all are accessing. So we can't say that he is not coming. And second point, I would say that Narad Muni is already there with us in the form of his teachings, whole Bhagvatam. Bhagavatam is filled with Narad Muni. Right, Practically every canto, maybe you can find Narad Muni. First canto you find, second canto you find, second canto is not Narad Muni there. Third canto, every canto I think you can find Narad Muni's pastime somewhere or the other. So Narad Muni is there with us through his teachings, and we can access him if we have right attitude. Like Prabhupada was accessing. Prabhupada was seeing Narada came. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.